Hi, Paul. I'm Suzanne Diprose from Performance Advantage. We are a plug-in HR department and we deal with quite a lot of small businesses. And I know that your Think Accountants firm are experts on small businesses. And you've prepared a PowerPoint presentation for us today. And maybe you could introduce yourself and take us through that, Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. Yes, my name's Paul Ray. I'm the principal of Think Accountants. We're a boutique accounting tax advisory firm based in Burnley and Richmond. We've got a team of 7 specialists here, and we work with many small businesses, right from very small mum and dad operations through to looking after some Australian-based entities of some reasonable sort of multinational companies. But our focus is really on the SME market, the small businesses, particularly with tradies, medical practices, a whole range of importers and exporters, finance people, lawyers, professionals. So we have a broad range, high wealth individuals, a broad range of clients. So that's sort of a bit of our background. We've been going for over 30 years now. So we've got a lot of experience and technical knowledge in the areas of tax and accounting and business advisory in general.
Yeah, when you've been doing something for a while, as have I and yourself, you do get to see quite a lot, don't you? A lot of things come up, a lot of issues, a lot of patterns, challenges, but also really good things too. Paul, do you want to take us through why you've prepared this Survival, Revival and Thrival?
Okay, some weeks back I was working on a bit of a survival package which we've sent out to our clients, and I thought, while we're all focused on survival at the moment, there becomes a time when we've got to move from survival to revival. And then that's all about establishing ourselves, getting us ready for when we come out of this to the new normal, and then thriving from there. How do we go about building our businesses? We should be looking forward to what the new future will look like, and looking towards making sure that we're prepared for it when we get there. So I've been putting that together, and what I just wanted to go through with you today is just the survival aspect of it. There are a number of components. What we need to look at the moment is just to make sure that we've made ourselves eligible for everything that's available from the government incentives. There's a PAYG cash flow stimulus which runs through our BAS return. So just making sure that everybody lodges their March BAS return certainly as early as you can, and perhaps by now, in order to take advantage of that cash flow boost. If we have apprentices, to make sure that we're eligible for the apprentice 50% wage subsidy. The Victorian Government Business Support Fund for $10,000, which once again is, that in particular is focused on those businesses which are highly impacted. In other words, because of the travel restrictions, the association restrictions, so things like travel agents, bars, restaurants, gyms, all these people that were really pretty heavily affected. Making sure that get those, and the JobKeeper payment, just making sure that those people that are eligible and checking their eligibility, which means we've got to review their figures, current sort of figures, look back to see have they had the necessary 30% reduction during using like the basic tests. If the basic tests don't suit because of their conditions when they started their business, or perhaps this time last year was very low, then having a look at the alternative tests that are now out. And I could say I think that the federal government's done an amazing job putting together these packages in such a short time frame. Sure there are gaps, and
there are gaps and things change. It's a massive thing, isn't it? It's a massive. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Something like this in if you like, normal times would probably take 18 months to get through. By the time they, thrash it through Parliament, by the time they go through all the detail, they just haven't got time to do that. So I think they've done a really great job. And sure, there are some anomalies, but I think we've got probably about the best we can get out of it, considering.
And so you make the point to hear about tax payments, deferring those.
Well, my approach has been, look, don't pay the tax man anything until we get through all these grants and things, and then we know what our position will look like. Then we can sit down and negotiate with the tax man once we know what our cash flows look like, and they're more than willing to to come on board with us in that area. So, as I say, time's not getting there, but certainly don't pay the tax man anything until we know what we can pay.
Thank you. Good point. Yeah, this is an interesting thing here about staffing needs, examining staffing needs. Anytime there's major change is a real opportunity to make sure that you don't have waste actually in your business in terms of staff needs, isn't it? Staffing levels.
Absolutely. I think, we've got to examine everything here, but I mean, first of all, you've got to look at, one of your key assets, which is your people. And, we've had businesses where, they just had to close, and, they made decisions on the spot to either stand down their people or even let them go. And in some cases now they've been able to bring those people back on now that the JobKeeper had come in. They understand how that works, so they've been able to bring those people back in. And so that's a great thing. That's what the JobKeeper is all about, keeping people in employment, keeping the funds going around, because if people are earning money and they're spending money, that means, we've got the opportunity for businesses to, to keep them going as well. So, it's only, just who and when, and with the, those businesses which they perhaps don't need people because they're just not working, then it's a matter of, how can we use these people to our best benefit and to their best benefit. And I'm sure people don't want to be sitting at home 7 days a week in lockdown.
No, so they don't. No, and you can change people's work roles as long as it's within their capabilities. It's safe, and it's not sending them to Siberia or somewhere, that it's within reasonable travel. There's plenty of options to actually change people's work roles, and actually, quite frankly, you can do a lot as long as you've got agreement of your employees. So it's times I think really need flexibility now.
Well, I think in cases where particularly those businesses which are basically closed, I think there's okay, it's going to be tough, but I think there's a tremendous opportunity to use your people to prepare yourself when you come out the other side. Sit down. I'll probably talk about this a little bit later, but just to make sure that you've got all your systems, your processes in place. Make sure that if you're restaurants, perhaps let's get our people in, whether you have 1 or 2 come in each different days or whatever. Create new restaurants, create new offerings. So I think particularly those that are closed, it's a great opportunity to use your people here to create a great business when you come out of it.
Yeah, you really can't create or innovate when you're closed. Yes, you need some sort of level of operation. And what's your next point here about the P&L cash flow?
Okay, I think obviously in these times in particular, we need to know when's money going to come in, when it's going to go out. Yeah. And I think it's essential that people sit down, look at their cash flows for the next 3 to 6 months, have a look at their debtor days, because obviously they'll probably blow out a bit. People won't be able to pay perhaps as quickly as they were. Have a look at the government assistance benefits as we've got there, but have a look at those, build those into your cash flow, examine your costs, sit down, have a look at them, have a look at your largest first, eliminate those ones that perhaps you don't need, that are not essential. Look at your staffing costs, which we've already sort of discussed a bit, but prepare some cash flow so that you can see, well, when are we going to be able to, or how long are we going to be able to keep doing what we can, and when do we have to make some decisions, perhaps about our staffing, etc. Yeah. I think it's imperative that people certainly sit down and do that.
I think, and really looking at what's not necessary today. Like you might have some wish lists, or you might have some things that under different circumstances you would be willing to pay for, but right now it might be just the time for, tightening the budget, if you like.
Well, I don't think you'll ever find a better time to be talking about tightening your budget. I mean, I guess we're in times that probably none of us have ever seen before. So,
no.
Yeah, certainly we've got to. I think we've got to take action, because there's no point in having no action. We have to take action.
No, correct. So yes. Oh, and you've got some. I love these terms: break even, sales figures. Break that down. What does it actually mean?
Well, it's amazing how many people don't really know what it costs to open their doors each day. And that really determines your cash flow. So we need to say, okay, what amount of sales do I need in order to break even? What's my break even? My sales less my costs. And and if you look at, say, a restaurant, they may be able to work it out. Well, look, we need to do 60 meals a day. That's our break even. If you want to break it down to sort of a piecemeal approach, other people it might be, we need to sell 300 widgets. That's our break even. In professional firms, it may be billing hours per day, etc.
Yes.
So understand what it costs to run our business, each day, and what does that look like for a week, and what does that look like for a month, so we know, what billing do we have to do just to keep the doors open without making a profit. What is our break even? And I find that very, very, very few businesses have done that. And this is a great time to look at that.
Yeah, and these sorts of figures are what you really need for decision making, isn't it?
Absolutely. And in order to be able to do that, you have to have those figures, which then comes back to a good financial reporting system, and and it's not garbage in, garbage out. And we do still see financial reporting, the monthly, weekly, whatever bookkeeping that is really not up to scratch. The owners, etc., really cannot make decisions by looking at their figures, because they're just not accurate.
Yeah. Quite critical, isn't it? So I see here about trading terms as well. You were talking about debtors before, and that's the likely to increase the debt periods, but payment periods. But there are things we can do on our side too about that, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, have a look at what your trading terms are. Maybe we've been too, if you like, generous. 30 days, 60 days, or whatever. Have a look at what your cash flow needs, and really set them as firm figures. Whether it's, say, 7 days. In a lot of businesses, I think these days you can ask for upfront payments. Build that into part of your pricing structure. And I think it's important, particularly in a lot of professional businesses, to bring all your team on board, to let them know it's critical that our clients, etc., meet our payment terms. Because if they can't pay us, then maybe we can't pay them. So I think it's critical that your team, especially those who are engaged in working directly with clients, understand just what it is we need to get our clients to pay us. So set your payment dates, stick to them, and enforce the payment discipline. You've got to follow up. Maybe it's an email follow up after a week, etc. But then if it boiled down to someone getting on the phone and saying, "Hey, Harry, our payment terms were last week. You haven't paid us yet. Is there a problem? How can we assist you? Do we need to put in place a payment over a couple of weeks or something?" But you really have to enforce it.
Yeah, I think full stop. There's, in times like now, more communication is needed, full stop, with your staff, with your clients, with your suppliers, etc., so that things can flow as smoothly as they can, that things can continue.
Yeah. So then I think it's, we talked about cash flow forecast, but then I think we should prepare a pro forma P&L. What would your business look like if everything was going well? Be really clear about that, and then build a cash flow, a profit forecast based on that. What would my business look like? What do I want it to look like? and build that. And then, if you build it, they say, they're not saying if you build it, he will come. Well, if you build something like that, then your mind and your actions will tend to be more directed towards that. So build yes. a profit and loss forecast based on what you'd really like your business to look like.
Smart advice.
Okay, now you're just mentioning about customers and suppliers. I think in these times in particular, we should segment our customers and suppliers. But who are our top 20 best customers? Those who pay on time. Let's focus on these. Always the Pareto principle. Look after the 20% yes. that give you 80% of your business.
Yes.
So really focus on them. Show them that you love them, and look at your critical and your best suppliers. In these difficult times, we're probably going to need their support. So certainly try and make sure we pay those people on time. Keep in contact with them, let them know how we're going, and be genuine about it, and don't make promises we can't keep. So look after our suppliers and look after our customers.
Good advice, I think. Yes.
Now, as I mentioned before, liaise and work with the ATO once you understand your cash flow. They have been really, really understanding. The government's understanding. They've been told basically, to work with people, because there's no good them going out and bashing people around, because they know that people are struggling. So once you understand your cash flow, then work with the ATO, sit down, come up with what you think is manageable. Don't try and be too positive about it. Be really looking carefully at what you think you can manage, and put in place an arrangement with them, because they're cautious too. They don't want you committing to something that they know you're going to. They think you're going to fail on. So,
yes.
Be realistic about it. The basic stuff is work with your bank. Structure your loan payments. Talk to your credit providers. Maybe your hire purchase commitments, etc. Work with them. They're all prepared to come to the party. So let's talk to them about it and make sure that we build that into our cash flow. Same thing goes with our landlord. While there is, rules, legislation coming in, talk to your landlords. I've seen some people who've had some pretty terrible communications from agents, which I think was shocking. And I've seen some great communications from agents. So I think now that the government is bringing in something that people have to come to the party together.
Yes.
So work with your agent, your landlord or your agent, and it probably. The greatest thing really about it all is to have a positive mindset. We really must keep thinking, we are going to get through this, because there's the old saying, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So have a positive mindset and believe that we will get through it.
Very true about that. And a negative mindset robs you from today, as well as, like worrying just about what may or may not even happen robs you from today, doesn't it? And your energy to actually focus on some of these very useful tips and advice, and for action. It's actually all about action, isn't it? You said that too.
It is. Absolutely. We have to take action. Nothing will happen without action. And so just wanted to briefly talk about the JobKeeper. What it do enables the business to keep their employees. Those that are out, those that are eligible, those that were on board the 1st of March, and the JobKeeper payments will pay those periods $1,500 per fortnight from that fortnight's commencing the 30th of March, assuming you're eligible for that beginning of that month. Yeah. It's a one-in, all-in, which I don't think a lot of people understood at the start. That those that are eligible that want to be in, then they have to be in. You can't pick and choose and cherry pick those people that you want to be in. So we've had a few people that didn't quite understand that, but it's critical that you do bring everybody in that does nominate to be part of it. And that runs up until the 26 weeks, up to the 30th September. And I think ideally we should be taking advantage of this. It's a great initiative, and use it to build for the future. As I said earlier on, make sure we use our people in the best possible way, for the business to grow, because it's in their interest for us to come out the other side as a business that can get back to where we were, and hopefully, if we've used this time really productively, perhaps to have some great growth.
Yes, yeah. And I see here you're sole traders.
Sorry. Yeah.
And I see here sole traders and business participants are also eligible. Business participants, who would you mean there?
Well, look, there are some businesses, such as companies and some trusts, where they haven't actually physically been drawing wages for themselves.
Yes.
Okay, so they, as a company, perhaps they tend to take it as dividends at the end of the year, or directors' salaries, which technically should be a salary, but they haven't actually drawn a a proper salary.
Yes.
Perhaps those who have a trust, if you like, the principal beneficiary has just been taking the distributions at the end of the year. So they seem to like they would fall into a bit of a gap, but the ATO has allowed one member of a partnership, a company director, or a beneficiary of a trust who was actively involved in the business to be able to be eligible for the $1,500 per fortnight payment. That will be paid to the entity. And unlike employers, where you have to have paid your employees the $1,500 per fortnight going back to the start of April, there's no such requirement here because you're not an employee.
Okay. Also, it stays in the business.
Yeah, so it's accessible income to the business, and then the how the director or whatever use that's up to them. So if it's tax deductible, fine. If not, it's taxed in the hands of the company or the trust or the individual.
Are you getting lots of sole traders applying? Do you know of that yourself?
Yes. No, we've got a number of sole traders that we've applied for. Also, some directors of companies and beneficiaries or principal business participants in trusts that haven't been registered as employers. There are two tests for all. This one's a basic test, and there's the alternative tests they've brought in, which cover those businesses that perhaps weren't trading 12 months ago or had unusual trading patterns, or perhaps through sickness or leave or whatever, their turnover was low at this time of the year. Most of those are pretty straightforward. There's some that are a bit challenging, and I know there's one we've been waiting. Tomorrow will be a week to get an answer back on why business participants in trusts left out of the test for sickness, etc. Sole traders are in, partners are in, directors are in. Yep. But for some reason they've excluded trusts, and we don't know why yet.
You'll get onto that, I am sure.
Well, we'll follow them up again. They did say it'd be 48 hours to 72 hours last Tuesday. Well, that's now gone by. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they're all pretty busy there.
Yeah. Okay, so how can you help people with JobKeeper? What are you doing for people?
Well, I think as we mentioned earlier on, how we can help ObKeeper. Okay, can help. Let's get the ObKeeper. Look, we can help businesses register for JobKeeper. To some extent, most of it's pretty straightforward, but for some people it's not, and we've registered lots and lots of people to the extent of what we've put in the money. We've hardly done any work of our own the last 4 weeks, so we're we're behind the 8 ball a bit. It's getting work done so we can get billings out, etc. But we can help them assess their eligibility using the two tests as I mentioned. Yes. Assess with their payroll requirements. So there are people using all sorts of different payrolls. Some are really good and helpful. Xero is very good. YUP's pretty good. QuickBooks not bad. Cashflow Manager okay, but it's still it can be tricky. And we've had a number of people who have enrolled and they've got their enrolment wrong. I haven't seen yet how we can go back and amend that, but that hopefully will happen soon. But certainly helping them with their payroll requirements, those who are reporting on STP, etc.
Yep.
And they're also required to provide monthly figures, so we can help them provide those as well. Yes. And then, as we discussed earlier, if people need help working out there, doing the break-even analysis, with preparation of profit and cash flow projections, and also, if they need help assistance with negotiating payment arrangements for the ATO. So, these are all the areas that we think, right at the moment we can be the most helpful.
Yeah, they would be very much. So people can get hold of you by phone, by email here. It says admin@thinkaccountants.net.au.
Yep. So either call us on that number, email us, or if you ever want to have a look, just visit our website and it'll tell you a bit more about about what we do and the sort of industries that we're involved with.
Fabulous. Paul, we should follow up with a session on revival and also a session on thrival subsequent
Okay,
to this.
we can do that.
Yeah,
yep,
fabulous.
Absolutely.
Good on you. Thank you, Paul.
Okay. Thanks, Suzanne. Talk to you soon.
Bye.